I was just thinking back to the time when we had an intervention for our son Chase, and the interventionist was getting ready to get on the airplane. It was 2013. He was getting ready to get on an airplane and fly to North Carolina to do this intervention for us. And I said, "Look, man, I don't even know where he is. We have no idea where he is right now." And he asked me, "So where are some of his favorite hangouts?" And I said, "Well, he likes to hang out at the town center, at the local mall, at the food court." And he said, "Well, go there. And when you go there," he said, "tell him, hey, your mom really misses you. She'd like to see you. Why don't you come home, just get a shower, grab a quick bite to eat, say hi to mom, and then you can be right back out the door." So I took his advice and I went over to the food court at our local mall, and I walked in the door and I looked to my right, and there he was, sitting there with some of his friends. And it just blew me away. And I walked over there, trying to gather myself a little bit. And I walked over there and I told him exactly what the interventionist told me to say, almost word for word. And I went back home and I'm thinking, yeah, he's not going to respond to that. And literally within, I want to say it was a couple of hours, but it wasn't long, before he showed up, and he left before we could have the intervention, before we could even have our meeting. But he did come back like a day or two later. Anyway, we ended up having the intervention, and the intervention was successful at getting him into treatment. Unfortunately, he went from treatment to halfway house, bounced around to several different halfway houses, and got himself kicked out of the last one. And I let him move back in at home, and then he did end up, I would say, relapsing, and he died in a wreck that was drug related, in 2014, May the 29th, 2014. Anyway, I thought it was an interesting story that I would share with you about how I did what the interventionist said, and it just blew me away that he was that easy to find, and that when I followed the directions and did what the interventionist suggested in terms of communication with our son, it worked like a charm. It worked perfectly. So that's my story. Thought I would share it with you. And I guess the moral is, to lean on professionals, lean on people who have experience